Hello, it's Birdy again. So, I'm 19 years old. I took the year off to work. It's June, June near the end of May. June's just starting. Because the time zone of this is a little bit important. I live close to some train tracks. And there's a bridge, and it's pretty long, and it's pretty high. And a lot of kids would cross it sometimes because there's a creek and it's really hard to get across. Instead of going to the street and using the bridge or, other means of getting across, they sometimes use the bridge, the train trestle. And it's dangerous. If two trains come at once and you're on there, you're going to be in big trouble. Tell the truth, I've used it before, but I've lived here forever, so I know when the trains are going to come. And they're pretty basically the same time. Once in a blue moon, two trains will come at once. And this happened with 3 kids on the bridge of the train track, and they all jumped. They all had bicycles, and 2 of them passed away. 1 of them lived. Now this is the first time I've ever seen the ghost this early. Usually I'll see ghosts over 10, 20 years they've passed away, and the only way I know the time they passed away is the clothes they're wearing, because usually they die with whatever they have. That's the way they go. Now, it was the day after, or a couple days after that I met them, and there were 2 boys, 15 years old. The one that lived, I think he was 15 as well. But they didn't know they had passed away. And they had their bikes with them. And whenever it's a traumatic death, like a violent one, even if it's, an accident, there's a whole bunch of determinations on if they're going to go to heaven or to the bad place, hell. So, as far as I know, when they jumped, they were trying to save their lives. But if, at the time, they thought that it was going to be like easier to die jumping than getting hit by the train, then it would be considered a little bit of a suicide. The light did come for them, but they did not go into it because they were scared and they were not sure what was going to happen to them. Remember, they're 15 years old. I've talked to them a million times. They never leave the property. They stay close to the train tracks, close to the creek. Sometimes they'll come up to the house. There are 2 boys. And I says that, listen, you haven't done anything wrong. It was an accident. Baby, you shouldn't have been on the tracks. And I've done it myself, so I said, I know I've done it myself, but you don't know this area very well, and you don't know when the train comes by. And they says, no, we've taken it before, but you're right, we don't know when the trains come by. And so, with this is the first time that I have seen the light, but it only came that one time for them. And so I figured that perhaps they got to decide themselves if they're worthy to go to heaven or wherever. It's heaven when the light comes, that's for sure. Anyway, they're still around today. This is a long time after. Back then there was no, the cell phones were the size of bricks, so that's the best I can tell you because I'm trying to keep the time zones and everything and names out of it. But anyway, about a month later, about a month later, July, let's go to July, a month and a half, there was 3 young girls camping out at the creek. And my father says, can you go get them off my property? Now, we have a big house with a super long hallway. It's 3 stories high, and it's huge. It's made for 9 kids and a guest room and servants' quarters and the whole 9 yards. That's where I live. And so I'm in the hallway, and I'm going to go tell these kids that they have to leave the property, which I really didn't want to. They're 3 young girls. They had a little tent, and they're just camping out, So I'm going down there. But before I get down there, my mom is coming down the stairs with a tray of drinks and food, sandwiches. And she gets down there and she goes, will you do me a favor and go bring this to the kids that are camping out at the creek? And I said, wow, Dad just told me to kick them out. But I'm saying this in my head. So I grabbed the tray, right? And I walked down this huge long hallway where my dad is sitting in the living room or the kitchen. We have living room kitchens. Italians have like 1 million fridges, 1 million living rooms, 1 million dining rooms. Like this house is full of just all kinds of pantries and all kinds of stuff to place food. So we're going down the hallway, and I go, Dad, and I said, Mom wants me to bring them food, sandwiches, and drinks, and you want me to kick them out. He goes to me, don't tell your mother nothing, but go feed them and make sure they're okay. Don't tell her that I told you to go kick them out. He uses his accent and everything because he's Italian. He has this crazy accent. I can do it well, but right now I'm not doing it that good. But anyway, I go down to the creek, and I bring him the food, and I ask him what's going on. You know, are you guys okay? If you need blankets, or if you want to come up to the house, we have like 12 bedrooms. You know, like we have some spares. And they're like, no, my one friend is having a problem, and I think one was 15 years old. One was 14, and one was 16, and they're all three together supporting this 15-year-old. And I inquired a little bit, you know, and I said, I brought him food the next day. That's when I inquired more, and drinks. So I think this was a Friday. So Saturday I brought him some more food, and they started telling me about the young lady's problems. And she was abused and this and that, and they're here to support her for a couple of days to get away from her parents, mainly her father. So I was like, I came back upstairs and I told Mom and Dad the issues, and Mom's like already preparing 3 rooms for them for the next day because she doesn't want them out there. And it's a beautiful night. I said, Ma, it's not that bad. It's like 24 degrees outside. If anything, they need an air conditioner out there. And she's like, no, Sunday night we're bringing them in, but they're still there Saturday. And sure enough, they were there Saturday night. And so Sunday, I go down there to tell them that they're going to come up. But it was changed. The 2 girls weren't there no more, and the other girl was there. But she had a bag over her face. It was a clear bag. And she passed away. This one, I got there at the time that the spirit was leaving the body. I've only seen that with my grandmother when she passed away. But it's the first time I've seen it. I'm only 19 years old. So I'm not understanding this 100% other than I can talk to ghosts. So I clearly, near the creek, the 2 kids are over there. I says, can you guys come here? The 2 other male ghosts. And then she came out of there. And she goes, what's happened? What's happened? I says, well, you've passed away. And she goes, no way, because when they pass away, they're in a bit of a shock. And they're not looking at their bodies. And I says, these 2 gentlemen here, the 2 kids, they've passed away too. Now she's thinking that she can see me, she can see them. She's not passed away. And I'm trying to explain to her that these are ghosts. You're a ghost. And this time, instead of seeing the white light, I started seeing dark circles on the ground. Well, the black, brown, I'm a little bit colorblind, so I couldn't tell exactly how dark it was. But I was afraid for her, especially. I wasn't afraid for the kids going into the light, the 2 boys, but I was afraid for her going into the abyss, or whatever that is, because it's down, the lights were up. The lights are usually 2 or 3 feet above ground, if not higher sometimes, depending. And this time, it was not. It was down under, it was ground. And I told her, you're going to stay close to me, because this is not right. And as I'm finding out about her abuses, and she was abused as a child, molested and stuff like that from her biological father, which is horrible. Don't quote me it was biological or stepfather. I don't know for sure 100%. But anyway, I told her, I says, yours is definitely a suicide. And she goes to me, no, I tried to save myself at the end. And I go, but you knew what you were doing, and you did it. So I'm going to defend you to the best of my knowledge to make sure you don't go to that bad place. But you got to stick around with me till I can prove to angels or God that you're worthy to go to heaven. And she's still with me till today. And still those 2 other kids are with me. And the two boys from down the track says, "We'll support you too. We'll stick up for her." And I says, "Yeah, I don't think they can really do anything, but I am alive, and we will use this in another segment, where being alive is important when you're saving somebody. Yeah, because we can move things with our hands and all kinds of stuff, and ghosts cannot. They do develop powers with time of their passing away. But this young lady, she was only 15 years old, and she started telling me the story of what has happened to her. And it was pretty scary, but I'm not scared of scary movies. I'm not scared of a lot of stuff. Oh, and by the way, I finished and got my high school education, and I also finished my Kung Fu courses. I got the equivalency of a black belt, but I only use it for self-defense. And I think I'm way over 5 minutes this time, and I'm sorry. I'll talk to you later, Birdy. Bye.